Sam, you obviously won here, 2011. How does it differ defending a major compared to defending a regular tour event? Is there a difference emotionally, mentally?
I guess it's everything about a Grand Slam's bigger. Obviously, in a lot of ways, goes without saying, but Iga's so used to being in this position now, I really don't think it phases her, to be honest.
She's got a good record defending titles. I was looking at it earlier on. She's already done so 3 times this year. She's been able to back up her wins in good fashion so far in her career.
$13-15.
As always against Swiatek, how you manage the power.
The power, the accuracy, already these first 4 points, Swiatek's barely had to move out of the middle of the court. Juvan's already been stretched side to side.
Opening game, if ever there was one. Swiatek off to a fast start. Seems to have an attitude, again, you've been around her a lot more than I have, Sam, but seems to have an attitude of just constantly looking to evolve her game, constantly looking to improve, not necessarily worrying about anything else that's going on. You know, we talk about sort of the ability just to compartmentalize, but it's all about trying to block out the noise with her and focus on herself.
Yeah, it's obviously traveling with a sports psychologist. They're very into finding any way to either calm down, block things out, refocus, stay focused. And funny you say that about trying to find ways to improve herself. I practiced with her at the Australian Open 2 years ago. Had a good session, and then at the end she said, "Can you do a volley game? I want to see if I can beat you in a volley game." And then, you know, always trying to test herself. What can I do? How can I learn something? So I was quite impressed by that.
Did she beat you in the volley game?
Well, she did, but the way the rules were explained to me was very convoluted.
Actually trains in Barcelona, just Kaja Juvan. It's been there a while now. Isn't it?
Long 30.
nice point for Juvan to actually get on the front foot and take control of one of these points early in this match. Hasn't had too many opportunities to do so as of yet.
It looks like a fairly flat ball, that forehand. Is that the case?
Seems so.
He's been coached by Oscar Serrano. Is Juvan. Trains at the Tennis Empowerment Centre in Barcelona. A couple of players there. Pedro Cachin is there as well, and Camila Osorio on the women's side. So there's a group of players that train down there together.
Left for service.
Tour leader in return games won this year. Almost at 50% of return games won on the year. She is relentless in that department of her game. Only chance to build on that. She hasn't taken long.
She
grabs the early break. Swiatek so far just hasn't given Juvan any time to kind of be set or be able to create much on her own accord. The pace at the moment is beating her time and time again. That was conveniently a little bit late, but the outcome is exactly what she would have desired. How easy is it to not to overplay when you go down a break against the best players? Because I'm assuming you kind of feel the pressure that comes on early, so you're already chasing the scoreboard, and easy not to panic, I would imagine. Against her wants to get off to a slow start. You're already thinking before the match is even said, I have to stay close. Got to try and get on the scoreboard early because everyone knows what such a great front runner she is. So very hard not to panic, start pressing, overplaying, going for shots that you wouldn't necessarily do. It's only 2 love, but that may already feel, oh, could it be 4, could it be 5? What am I going to do?
40-15.
Having that reputation in the locker room can go a long way before you even play a point.
89th winner already this week. And Djokovic described it, didn't he, impressed the other day as a warrior. That description. And she has been able to win 3-11-12, in fact, to the first 16 points out here. So pressure on early. From the lady from Slovenia, who's going to be close to the top 100 again after a run of wins here this week.
Long 15.
103. In fact, is a live ranking, so something to build with in the autumn period.
We're hoping to keep getting that a little bit high to not have to go through qualifying at the Australian Open as well.
15.
How do you serve to Iga, Sam? I mean, obviously it's difficult if you don't have a serve that can garner you a lot of free points, isn't it? But you can see now that she's kind of on the defensive off the first delivery and the second.
Yeah, it's just such a strong part of Swiatek's game. Sometimes the body serve is underutilized against some players. Serve a lot more if they stand really close, but Swiatek, she's pretty compact, especially on that backhand swing, but she just sees it as soon as you drop that ball short or don't put enough pace on it. That's her first opportunity and she goes for it every time, so you constantly feel like you're under pressure.
Second serve, and that was the case 2 days ago. Daria Saville won one second serve point in the entire match. As we remind you to go to usopen.org, online home, for all your scoring, highlights, draws, stats as well. You can get in under the bonnet in this sport, usopen.org. Go and check it out.
trigger down the line and come up with another clean winner.
Yeah, she's been good in the first couple of rounds, but this is a level up. She's merciless out there right now.
From Juvan, taking advantage of an opportunity to have a second serve, really went after the return and struck it so well. Set up the backhand winning shot.
She's using the backhand line a little more as well this season, just to maybe get the forehand into play off the shot.
She's just so good at opening up the court, and then, like today, she goes backhand cross, has her opponent out of the sideline, straight away back and down the line. Now I'm going to move you to the other side of the court, see what you can do. So using that backhand down the line, most players will hit that forehand back through the middle of the court or cross court, which, as you said, gives her another opportunity to then get her forehand into play.
Yeah. Firmly to one side right now. Dominant she's been in some of these sets. 41 love sets she has had in the last couple of seasons, and that is a record that's actually stood for almost 40 years in terms of the volume of love sets that she's been able to achieve. Look at Selej and Steffi Graf were that sort of vein, but she really is ruthless.
She's in good company with those two. Yeah. My two heroes.
That's a 2-year period.
And going back to what we touched on with her return, how well she returns, and what do you do? She's the second serve return points one leader on the WTA Tour. So if you're having to hit a lot of second serves against her, you're going to find things pretty tough in general. So then you think, okay, I'll make a high first serve percentage, maybe not go for quite so much. And someone like Swiatek then senses that too, starts putting pressure on your first serve, and I think that's why we've seen only a couple of players able to beat her this year in Rybakina and Sabalenka. They've got big serves, they've got the ability to use that power and start the point on their terms. So it's tough for the majority of players out there at the moment. Get away with that one.
Just playing so much of that tennis from a deep position, retreating. The top seed has raced a set point here. with a love set. And she trying to get herself on the board. Slovenia. I must actually give a very quick mention to the academy over there, the Sokan Tennis Academy, which is actually where Kaja trained as a youngster from the age of 8. And had some terrible floods there a few weeks ago, torrential rain, and it actually did substantial damage to an academy that had been built up over the years. Of course, she'd spent a lot of time there. And they've just set up a Just Giving page, so if you're feeling generous, get out there and help them, because they're desperately trying to rebuild the club, the courts. It's where a lot of players go and train. Bubble they had was pretty much wiped away. So if you can donate, let's go and check it out. What does she do here, Sam? Because it's easy for us to sit here and we can wax lyrical about what Swiatek's doing, but how do you kind of keep yourself positive in this situation and just stuff?
That is a very good question. Give me a second.
Yeah, not easy.
Easier said than done is you have to try and remain positive. No matter what's going on. The alternative, getting frustrated, angry, thinking, oh, how can she keep hitting these winners or anything like that, that's what she does. So you know that's going to happen. So you have to try and keep a good attitude, run as many balls down as you possibly can, and perhaps at this point in time, now you do start trying to go for maybe a little more risk. You can still, don't have to go for the single sideline, but do you try and put a little bit more on your ground strokes? If you have a second serve from Swiatek, do you stand in a little bit closer or go back? Just give her something different to look at to try and throw her off.
6-0, 6-0, 100%.
Right, Polish fan wants a love and love scoreline.
Exactly.
Here and say, oh, try something different. Where's your plan B or plan C? But it's hard when you're out there and you're the player in that moment. You feel like all eyes are on you. You're barely winning a point. The mountain just feels so big to climb. It's hard to keep a clear mind and a clear head on, coming up with some answers.
Yeah, just going to have pure raw power. I actually bumped into the Hawkeye guys earlier on. They told me that in terms of pace off the ground, Swiatek's got 10 miles an hour on both sides. She's averaging 79 miles an hour off the forehand, Juvan 70, and the backhand, substantial difference in power off the backhand. So, I mean, clearly you've still got to find the court, but obviously those numbers are going to be a determining factor.
They're not lying, are they?
No.
Love 40.
This is remarkable tennis.
Swiatek leads 20 så långt, second set.
This is super clean. And this is to a friend. Imagine if she didn't like you.
The one thing I think perhaps that Juvan doesn't have that Daria Saville had earlier on was perhaps the movement isn't quite as good, and Dasha was able to sort of change the height a little bit more, get the ball up high and just disrupt a little bit.
Dasha's plan was to do exactly that, disrupt. She wanted to be the disruptor, throw junk at her, not give her the same shot time and time again, try and get her off her rhythm. And Saville can do that at the best of times against anybody, so she really made that a big part of her plan going into that match.
She can't really find her backhand at the moment, can she? It's not like she's getting it. Not that the backhand's a weaker side, but obviously when you let her dictate with the forehand, she's taking control of the rallies. She's not really even able to get to that backhand side.
She's barely having to move, and that's why she's just so set for every single shot. I mean, she moves exceptionally well. But when she's controlling from the middle of the court, it's an absolute nightmare.
Juvan yet to win a point in this second set.
She's not even redlining. It doesn't look like she's trying to play unbelievable tennis. She's not hitting every ball on the line. It just looks completely within herself, which is
Scary.
Absolutely scary.
Yeah. Tennis being played right now from the world #1.
Swiatek leads 3 against the long second set and 5 1 to go.
Match win of her season on Sunday. Guessing you played in all conditions here.
Yeah.
Your time.
I mean, that's sort of the opposite to how it normally is. Normally it's very hot and humid the first week, and then you get that Labor Day weekend, and then all of a sudden you get a bit of reprieve. So we're flipping the script this time around, but when it's hotter, more humid, the balls get a little bit heavier in the humidity. Yep. But when it's that hot, there's so much heat in the court, they're just so lively. You can really get the ball jumping up if you hit with a lot of spin and get it jumping out of the sidelines.
15.
Might need to string your racket slightly tighter the warmer it gets to try and control the ball.
It's amazing, isn't it? Some players like to change their tension, some players don't. actually Nadal. I was talking to someone the other day about this. Nadal never changed his intention. Whatever it was, whatever the surface, whatever the conditions, never changed.
I find that incredible. Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm not going to doubt him. It's obviously worked. But yeah, there's formulas, and then it's whatever is up to the player.
Were you a substantial change, Sam, in terms of string tension? Was it a lot, or did it vary?
Oh, probably within 6 pounds, 6 to 8 pounds. I'd always string my rackets a lot tighter here than, say, in Australia. I found the conditions in Australia really heavy, or on the grass.
They play with a different ball this year, the ladies, aren't they? Which also has an impact.
Unforced error.
40-30.
First game point of the match.
And the Louis Armstrong Stadium offering some encouragement. It's a great reaction, and it's a very warm reception. Kaja Juvan is on the board after 40 minutes of play.
Swiatek leads 3 games to 1 second set.
Well, good on her for reacting like that. That has got to be a big sigh of relief. It's not a double bagel.
Brilliant. Going back to that conversation on string technology, how much has that changed the sport, Sam? Because obviously you were a player with a fair bit of spin. Iga's the same on the forehand. Over your career, did you notice how much of an impact strings had on your game?
Oh, tremendously. I learnt more about strings and tensions probably in the last 5 or 6 years of my career than what I ever knew before, and was willing to tinker and try a few different things.
How much help was it in terms of the string? Do you think how much of a help these days is it the string technology out there?
Well, I think back in the day everyone used natural gut, and nowadays there's more of a, then everything went to like a polyester string where you could create a lot more spin with that. Now a lot of players are blending the gut with the polyester again. You can do it in the mains and the cryo. There's all different formulas to it. And I went to the half natural gut to try and get a little bit more pace. I started feeling like I needed more power. I wanted more power. Against some of my opponents, so tried it out, tinkered with it.
14
Sometimes
long.
it takes a little bit of time to adjust. But I actually quite enjoyed learning about the different ways to try and find, you know, a little improvement. I guess especially playing more doubles towards the end of my career again. I liked that. I had a little bit more feel up at net.
Sure. Just gets the 4 points on serve so far.
Swiatek leads 4 games to 1 second set, and by 1 set to go.
Showing us just why. 4-1. Swiatek to face Jelena Ostapenko in the next round. Interestingly, Sam, someone she's never beaten before.
Yeah, that's not too many people have that stat over Iga Swiatek right now.
It's 3-0, incredibly.
Long
Last
15.
time they played was in Dubai. Of course, Ostapenko's still got to beat Bernarda Pera, but what's behind that head-to-head? I mean, Ostapenko obviously a pretty big ball striker herself.
Yeah, she's not going to feel intimidated. discount the 2019 match in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Certainly Swiatek's least favoured service, and well before her domination on the WTA Tour. But should Ostapenko beat Bernarda Pera, that could be a really interesting and fascinating matchup.
Ostapenko, as you say, not one to worry about reputations. She doesn't play the opponent.
No, she's going to have her own confidence, and she should use every ounce of it, knowing that she's won those previous encounters, albeit Swiatek potentially being a different player now, but you've got to use whatever you can.
15-14.
She doesn't beat you with her offense. Her defense is pretty impressive too.
5-1, second set.
She now is a game away from completing a victory.
She did everything right at that point. Juvan just got caught with that ball behind, and now that's not a good feeling when you're actually on top of points and also losing them.
A little window, didn't she, for the pass?
15-0.
You've been able to make the most of it.
Just 5
unforced errors as well today for Swiatek. I mean, you talk about the ability to get on top of the rally, but she's been so frugal in that regard. 4 of those in this set. It's been swift, not even 50 minutes on the board. It seems we've reached the conclusion. 2 match points. exhibition display.
2 sets to love, 6-1, 6-1.
Two best friends embrace. Lovely to see. But there was only one player in this. Swiatek completely dominant. And moves into the 4th round in double quick fashion.